Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 8 of Global Contenders, the review series for Gran Turismo's touring car selection. And in this particular episode we're featuring another DTM machine, and this is a real-life DTM car, the Audi A4, of the slightly older shape, but not old. It's still one of the newest DTM cars in the game, and Audi actually has a pretty strong showing for touring cars on GT6. They've got the TTR and the A4 offering very strong all-round packages. Now, I personally prefer this car to the TTR, but I can understand why people would prefer the TTR. I would say that overall the Audi TTR is slightly more forgiving, a bit more beginner-friendly, and maybe even faster around some tracks. I just personally prefer the A4. It sounds more unique, it looks more unique, and it feels different as an overall package, at least in my opinion. Now, this is a rear-wheel drive DTM car, unlike some of the older ones from Alfa Romeo and Vauxhall, and you get a 4-litre engine, like with the TTR. As far as maximum power, this is the more powerful of the two Audis at 805 horsepower. It also has more torque at 567 foot-pounds, fully tuned. Interestingly, they both weigh exactly the same at 1,080 kilos, so it's a little heavier than some other DTM cars. And it puts out a very respectable 745 horsepower per tonne. As far as the fully tuned PP, it sits at 1 PP lower than the TTR, which is 636 to this car's 635, but overall that is a very good PP, and this car is certainly justified at being at that level. As far as straight line performance, it's pretty good. This is the kind of car which could be a bit hit and miss when it comes to straight line speed. It might be good, it might not, but the top speed is pretty good on this car. It's not as strong as, say, the CLK touring car, but not many of them are. The top speed is more than enough for most tracks though, even at multiple PP and power levels. The acceleration is good, and the handling, as I said, perhaps not quite as forgiving as the TTR, but I personally like the handling on this car. I like the fact that it's a little heavier. It still has a huge amount of grip, and although of course you can get the tail out, I mean it's a rear-wheel drive 800 horsepower car, so of course it's going to be able to get the tail out. But overall, I just like the way the car feels. I like the balance of the car, I like the look, the shape, the sound. I just really like the overall package. Now, as far as price, you're looking at 1 million credits for this model, just like the TTR and various other DTM machines, which are, or tend to be, around that kind of level. Some of them are a little more. So I would say for value for money, it's very good, especially considering that it is a real vehicle. Unfortunately, it's not a premium model, and that's a real shame because the newer DTM cars especially do really have fantastic looking interiors, especially with the driving position very low in the car, and also because the drivers sit much further back than you'd expect them to, virtually in the centre of the car, which does give a slightly strange cockpit view, but still feels very cool at the same time. Overall, this is a car which doesn't need to be niched. It doesn't have a pocket of potential owners that should stick to it. I would recommend it for anyone. It's very strong, a very good all-round package, and it will pretty much serve you well on almost any track. For pure top speed, it will lose out to some, but not that many. It's more than fast enough to keep up with, if not beat, most other DTM and touring cars in general. There's only a very select few, like the CLK, some of the Skylines, that can outrun it. So overall, if you're looking for a strong DTM touring car, the A4 is definitely a good one to go for. And personally, I'm kind of surprised that you don't see more people using this vehicle. It's exactly the kind of car that I would have thought more people would use, especially being an Audi, which are usually very popular. But that being said, that does mean that if you do use it, you've got more of a chance of surprising people who maybe would go for the TTR or the CLK or the 155 or the Calibra, because although it doesn't necessarily have quite the sharpness of steering as some of those, especially the older ones, it more than makes up for it with a strong all-round package. So that's it overall for this particular pick. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, Thanks for watching.